Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. May I introduce myself? My name is Dindanila Pratiwi. I am from R1A class. My NPM is 202041500042. I want answer the question. Number 1 is what the obstacle for you to learn English? My obstacle in learning English is that I don't understand too much English vocabulary because there are so many words. And I also not really understand the proper grammar that should be used when I speak English. In learning English, sometimes I'm afraid of the wrong pronunciation of English words. Because of that, until now, I'm still trying to learn English. Sometimes, I learn a lot of English words from songs that I often listen to. If I don't know the meaning, then I will try to translate them. Number 2 is, after you translate those articles, what information you got? Explain briefly. The information that I get after I read this article is that I know how important grammar is to be taught, when grammar should be taught, and how to teach good and correct grammar. After reading this article, also I can know that teaching grammar is useful, but it is must be taught in an appropriate way for grammar to be effective. This article says to start teaching grammar early, but it is best taught to learners who have acquired some ability to use the language, example, intermediate level. And lastly, I can also know that the grammar that is taught must be accompanied by a different meaning and grammar structure. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Bunga Ananda Septiani. My MPM is 202041500025. Number 1. Confused to answer the asking in English, not also to pronouncing English so that the speaking process is healthy. Fear of pronouncing in work because they don't understand grammar well. Not confident is tackle to smarter people. Lack of vocabulary. Need to allow team to think about translating what you want to say. Difficult to understand English text. No partner to participate. Feel English is a difficult subject and don't like it. Number 2. Information on current issue in grammar. Teaching from as mastering is a perspective refers to the linguistic theory of grammar.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, I'm Yulia Fitriani in PM 2020 41 50033 class R1A. 1. What is the absolute for you to learn English? Answer: vocabulary that is difficult to memorize and you have to translate it first. The meaning that is not really understand and how to read it that is always wrong. Mispronounce the language will change the meaning. 2. After you translate this article, what information you got? Explain briefly. Answer: grammar regular, the use of language and learn its rules. That since is part of the field of linguistics, grammar is important for students because bad things can affect the meaning of sentences. Grammar talk must suppress different meaning and for you of us. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Debbie Reziriana. I am from R1A class. My MPM 202041500069. Question number 1. What is the obstacles for you to learn English? Answer number 1. My obstacles with learning English is that I am not used to speaking English. Sometimes I still like to pronounce it wrong in English, even though I am still not fluent in English. I keep trying and learning until I really can and understand English. I am looking for my own way to practice the English pronunciation of the songs I listen to aloud. Number 2, after you translate this article, one information you got explain briefly. Answer number 2, the information I got the article is that the study for how learners acquire a second language (SLE) has helped Chef talks about how to teach grammar from a second language, and this article and with assessment of my own belief about teaching grammar based on my understanding himself about SLE. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Putri Dia Mahardika. My NPM 202041 5010. Number 1. What is the obstacles for you to learn English? My problem when learning English is that I have difficulty memorizing English vocabulary because I have quite a lot of vocabulary. When I have memorize some of the vocabulary, sometimes I lack confidence or feel afraid to pronounce the vocabulary wrong because sometimes writing English vocabulary when read or spoken will be different from the writing. Number 2. After you translate this article, what information you got? Explain briefly. The information I get after reading this article is that I can find out a number of major problems related to teaching grammar, such as the difficulty of student learning grammar lesson, knowing the difference between explicit and implicit knowledge, and knowing solution or suggesting ways to overcome this problem by understanding the effective grammar teaching approach to learner. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Putri Dia Mahardika. My NPM 202041 5010. Number 1. What is the obstacles for you to learn English? My problem when learning English is that I have difficulty memorizing English vocabulary because I have quite a lot of vocabulary. When I have memorized some of the vocabulary, sometimes I lack confidence or feel afraid to pronounce the vocabulary wrong because sometimes writing English vocabulary when read or spoken will be different from the writing. Number 2. After you translate this article, what information you got? Explain briefly. The information I get after reading this article is that I can find out a number of major problems related to teaching grammar, such as the difficulty of student learning grammar lesson, knowing the difference between explicit and implicit knowledge, and knowing solution or suggesting ways to overcome this problem by understanding the effective grammar teaching approach to learner. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Introduce myself. My name is Rizky Juliadi. I am from class R1A. NPM 2020 40 50,015. I will explain my answer. My problem point 1. My problem in learning English is speaking English and the placement of words which are a bit forgotten. Next, point 2. The information that I get from the result of translating the text is I follows regarding the teaching of grammar and grammar structure basis that I can fit out the value in teaching and grammar itself. The regular teaching procedures and the and legal placement and the rest are systematics. The correct index writing procedure. So much from me. Thanks. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello, my name is April Bella. You can call me Bia. I'm from class R1A. My NPM 2,220,450,267. Number 1. The language is difficult to understand because if you interpret English is not one word but one sentence is interpret. If you interpret one word, it means that you are not connected, and it is a little difficult to pronounce it in English.
Hello everyone, my name is Saiful Apandi. You can call me Pandi. My NPM 2020 41,027. My difficulty in the English language, difficulty to translate Indonesian into English, difficulty in putting words together to form a sentence, difficulty in pronunciation and writing. The information I got on this article is, this article identifies and discusses a number of key issues relating to the teaching of grammar is in second language auto and by drawing. On theory and research in SLA suggests why to address this problem. This article also discusses whether we should teach this grammar. This slide, recorded to 1997, suggests they learn their own built-in syllabus for learning grammar. Linguistic offers a broad selection of grammatical models, the choice from including structural grammar, generative grammar, based on theory of universal grammar and functional grammar. The difference between explicit and implicit knowledge. The distinction between explicit and implicit knowledge was mentioned briefly earlier. Explicit knowledge consists of the facts that speakers of language have learned. Focus on from refers to instruction involving structure of the day, a part where the student primary focus is on from EI accuracy and where the activity are direct intensively in a single grammatical structure. Ism appropriate than to finish with a statement of my own belief about grammar teaching cannot lie that many of them remain controversial. First, the grammar talk should be on that emphasizes not just form but also the meaning and use of different grammatical structure. Second, teachers should endeavor to focus on the grammatical structure that are known to be problematic to learn rather than try to teach the whole of grammatical. Third, a focus on from approach is valid as long as it includes an opportunity for learners to practice behavior and communicative text. Thank you for your attention. I'm sorry if her is a mispronunciation and bye.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi
My name is Linda with NPM 2020-40 150,007. I will explain my answer about these two questions. The first, my problem is that when studying English, there is a matter of translating a sentence. I'm still confused because I'm also still a beginner. There's so many words that I have not mastered and at this time. And even for sentence, I'm still confused about how to process words into a sentence. Second, when I get after reading the grammar article, I can see the importance of a good grammar, an indicator of problem of educators in providing grammar evaluation. Here also explain the definition of grammars and so on. Thank you for attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, my name is Rahman Alif. My MPM is 20041500292. My class is R1A. In this video, I'm gonna answer the question that Miss Cecil gave it to us. The first question is, what is obstacle for you to learn English? My problem with pronouncing the grammar and vocab are very difficult for me because I'm not used to speaking basics and practicing pronunciations. Number 2. After you translate this article, what information you got? Learning, acquiring a second language that has helped to teach grammar in a second language. However, some controversial issues remain. The paper considers X-Men questions related to the pedagogy of grammar in light of the findings from acquiring a second language. Thus, this article complements Chelsea Morse's 1991 article of grammar in the 21st quarterly issue, which considers the role of governance in the communicative and compelling curriculum as grand theory of grammar. I'll talk at second, just to provide definite solution to this question. It does serve a valuable part of this problem for language pedagogy. The article concludes with a question of my own belief about the fundamental of grammar based on my understanding of second language. The article identified and addressed a number of important issues dealing with grammar in the second language, and by drawing on second language theory and research shows how to solve the problem. It points to a number of alternative solutions to each problem, suggesting that more often than not the clear solution is currently available. The aim, therefore, is not to invent new solution to existing controversies, even to prevent new controversies. Rather, it discussed in the context of one article the word problem related to grammar. Sorry if you the word is pronouncing wrong. Thank you for attention. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Hello everyone, my name is Eka Putri Febriani with NPM 2020-415 4 times the 0 and 4. I'm from class R1A Biology at Universitas Indah Prasta PGRI. Here I will tell you about my learning English. When I'm learning English, I have some trouble to learning it, such mistake in vocabulary, difficult in pronunciations, and lack of confidence in speaking English. And then, a lack of learning methods that are irrelevant because this pandemic. The information I get from this article is discussing the main issue related to grammar teaching. This article provides alternative solution to solve problem by understanding effective grammar teaching approaches for learners. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Dwi Arya Abdullahi with the number NPM 2020 41 5072. Number 1. My obstacle to learning English is that it's very difficult to speak in English because I have listened to many Indonesian words with Malay. I can so it is very difficult to speak in English. Number 2. The information I get in the articles is information about teaching grammar such as defining the teaching of grammar. Do we have to teach grammar? And much more information about teaching grammar. However, I want to briefly explain the meaning of teaching grammar. Traditionally, the teaching of grammar was seen as the presentation and practice of the correct grammar structure. This is often promulgated in teacher handbooks. For example, in his chapter entitled Teaching Grammar has a section on present and explain grammar and grammar. Present activist grammar teaching involves any instructional texture that draw the attention of learners to some particular form of grammar in such a way that it helps them to understand it methodically and or process it in understanding and or production so that they can intelligence it.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Introduce myself. My name is Nurfitri Kumala, NPM 2020 41 5068. I have some difficulties in learning English. The first is that I have difficulty memorizing English vocabulary. As we know that the vocabulary used in English is also quite a lot. Like that, I also have difficulty with English pronunciation. Of Number 2, after I translate the article, the information I got from this article was to the identification and discuss a number of major problems related to teaching grammar in second language, L2, and using theory and research in SLA suggests ways to solve the problem. This point to a number of out from identifying the grammar teaching. The article also explained that we must teaching grammar as well as grammar that must be taught, that is comprehensively, clearly, and can be explored.
Hello guys, in this question, let me introduce myself. My name is Aulia Milatina Fazwa. You can call me Aulia. My number in PM is 202041 500 256. My class in Air 1A. First, my obsession in learning English is the placement of word or tenses needed in sentence in English, as well as the pronunciation of word in English. As we know guys, that the pronunciation of word in English is different from word writing. So this is my problem in learning English and also the lack of English vocabulary that I have. 2. The information that I got from the article, I have understood a little about determining grammar rules. Teaching grammar can contribute to learning, but this has limited flow because communicative skills are dependent on equation. In general, students who are taught generally active, a higher level of grammar competent than naturalistic learner, and that teaching does not quality. The student will get what has been taught, as linguistics provides a large selection of grammar models to choose from, including grammar, structural, general grammar, and functional grammar. Functional grammar, traditional syllabi, are based on structural or discursive grammar. Grammar books are also ideal because they provide information not only about linguistic form, but also about semantic and dictional meaning. So, this article also explains it when we can teach a grammar. Thank you.
My name is Ayunur Aziza. My number in PM is 2020 41 5000 and 26. The difficulty in learning English, in my opinion, is in adjusting the sentence because many sentences in Indonesia are easy. But when translated in English, the sentence are reversed, and there is one word that it makes it difficult for me to determine the sentence. Then I had difficult hearing English sentence was ways of pronouncing them were similar, resulting in misunderstanding when translating them. The use of verb 1, 2, and 3 is also my difficulty in understanding English. After I translate the article give my Miss Cecile, I got some important points. This article contains the proper method of understanding grammar. The first point, in grammar should not only be taught about the meaning and use of different language structure. Then, as a teacher, they must know the understanding of their student so that no student are left with the grammar material. As a teacher, he must also know the right time to teach grammar to his student. Then, in teaching grammar, it is better to do reciprocity between student and teacher so that it will generate enthusiasm for students in learning the grammar. If grammar teaching is not only delivered in theory, but is also often practiced in communication, it will further harm the student abilities in understanding the structure and use of grammar in daily communication. Maybe those are some important points that I can take from article. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Pia Farida. I was born in Tangerang on January 27, 2001. I live in Indramayu district. I graduated from Senior High School 1 Sliug, and now I'm studying in Indraprasta University, majoring Biology Education, and my NPM 2020415000281. Number 1. Constraints in learning English are difficult when memorizing English vocabulary because there are too many vocabulary words. Number 2. Information on current issues in teaching grammar from an SLA perspective. Traditionally, the teaching of grammar has been viewed as a presentation and practice of grammar structure. Teaching grammar can contribute to learning but has limited value because communicative skills depend on acquisition. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hi, my name is Asna Suryani from class A1A of Biology Education at University of Indraprasta PGRI Jakarta. NPM 2020 41 5029. My barriers in learning English are confused to answer what when asked English, and then fearing wrongly because I'm not understood grammar well. And then the information I got from the article are the acquisition of the grammatical system of an L2 is a complex process and almost certainly can be assisted best by a variety of approach. But what is important is to recognize what options are available, what the theoretical rationales for this option are, and what the problems are with the rationales. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello my friends, my name Askiatun Nafsiyah, NPM 2020 41 5030 from class R1A Biology Education. Number 1. The obstacles in learning English are as follow. A. About distance learning method that is difficult to implement. B. I find it difficult when learning English, let alone bring obligation to speak English because I still don't understand lot of vocabulary. C. Cannot read English vocabulary correctly because pronunciation and writing are different from reading it, and D. It is difficult memorize English vocabulary. Number 2. Information from article. Grammar continues to hold a central place in language teaching, although there is no clear belief that traditional approach to teaching grammar based on explicit explanation and practice, such as practice, are unlikely to result in acquisition of the implicit knowledge necessary for smooth and accurate communication. There is still disagreement over what to replace this, then to end with a statement of his own beliefs about teaching grammar, acknowledging that many of them remain controversial. A. The grammar taught must emphasize not only from but also the meaning and use of different grammatical structure. B. Teachers should try to focus on grammar structure that are known to be problematic for students teaching grammar as a whole. C. Grammar is best taught to learners who have acquired some ability to use the language intermediate level rather than finishing beginners. D. The focus approach applied as long as it includes opportunities for students to practice behaviors in communicative tasks. E. Consideration should be given to experimenting with math rather than distributed approach to teaching grammar. Use must be made of input and output based instructional choice. G. There is a phase for teaching explicit grammatical knowledge. H. This approach focuses on incidental forms which have special value as they provide opportunities for extensive treatment of grammatical problems. I. Corrective feedback is important for learning grammar in using a mixture of implicit and explicit types of feedback based on input and suggestion. J. Grammar instruction should take the form of separate grammar lessons and must also be partitioned into communicative activities. Okay, I'm sorry there are many incorrect pronunciations. That is all and thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Hello everyone, my name is Cantika Samsina Fitriani and NPM 2020 K1 500 258. Question number 1. What is the obstacles for you to learn English? The obstacles in learn English are in the grammar, how it looks and how to convey the pronunciation correctly. there are still some mistakes in pronunciation, as well as understanding is still in the grammar. Is still like. Moreover, those who have not mastered the vocabulary will still certainly find it difficult if we apply it in everyday life, namely to communicate. So, you have to really understand English in order to make it easier for us to communicate with people. But but we have to master grammar, vocabulary, and many others. Then we should practice and think about apply it in everyday life. Question number 2. After you translate those articles, what information you got? Information related to articles that have been translated is a major problem related to teaching grammar in a second language. Teaching grammar is seen as a presentation and practice of discrete grammar structures and according in the teacher's handbook. Teaching grammar can contribute to learning, but this has limited value because instructed and because communicative skills depend on acquisition, meaning that the instructed and naturalistic acquisition process of learning is the same. However, instructed learners develop faster and higher levels of proficiency. Thus, some studies thus some studies conclude that on for grammar proficiency. Thus, some studies conclude that effective it must be taught in a way that is compatible with the natural acquisition process.
Hello, introduce myself. My name is Dewi Sri Nurjana, NPM 2020-41509. This time, I will answer two questions given by Miss. That's first, what is the applies for you to learn English? My appliance in learning English is not confident, difficult to memorize English vocabulary, not used to pronouncing English so that the speaking process is faltering, afraid to pronounce mistake because I don't understand grammar well, and it's difficult to pronounce because how to read English difference. Number 2, after you translate those articles, what information you got? Explain briefly. I get the information in the article is the study of how learners acquire a second language (SLA) has helped to shape thinking about how to teach the grammar of a second language. There remain, however, a number of controversial issues. This paper considers a key question relating of grammar pedagogy in the light of finding from SLA. This statement is a question that will be discussed: is teaching grammar or creating learning naturally? The language to be taught, the right time to teach grammar. Grammar instruction is grouped into short period teaching and long period teaching. Intensive and extensive grammar instruction value in teaching explicit grammatical knowledge, teaching grammar for implicit knowledge, grammar taught in the sprite lesson or integrated into communicative activities. As such, this article complements Celse Murcia's 1991, which considered the role of grammar in a communicative curriculum and draw predominantly on a language theory of grammar, although SLA does not offer definitive solution to this question. It serves to valid purpose of problematizing this aspect of language pedagogy. Thank you for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name Hania Azahra. I'm from class R1A Biology Education, NPM 2020-41-516. I will answer question number 1. English constraints, in my opinion, are lack of vocabulary, lack of understanding of grammar rule, confusion about what to answer when asked in English, lack of confidence for fear of making mistakes when speaking English. Next, I will answer question number 2. I got information on this question a number of major issues related to teaching grammar by analyzing research theory in service level agreement. Teachers sought endeavor to focus on those grammatical structures that are known to be problematic to learners rather than try to teach the whole of grammar. Grammar is best taught to learners who have already acquired some ability to use the language intermediate level rather than to complete beginners. However, grammar can be taught through corrective feedback as soon as learners begin to use the language productively. Grammar instruction should take two forms of separate grammar lesson, a focus on from approach, and should also be integrated into communication activity. Thanks for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Krishna Apriliani. My NPM number is 202041500073. I'm studying at University of Indraprastha, Jakarta. The obstacles for me when learning English are understanding the grammar, vocabulary in English, and difficult between verbs and nouns. The information I get is knowing what grammar teaching is. Traditionally, teaching grammar are the presentation and practice of grammar structures. Grammar consists of the presentation and practice grammar items. Knowing the difference between explicit and implicit knowledge. Experimental knowledge is held consciously and spoken, while implicit knowledge unconsciously and only be spoken orally. Knowing what grammatical features are so they can be used accurately the communication. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Aditya Reina Anggraini with student number 202041500048. I am a first level student in Biology Education, Faculty of Natural Science at the PGRI Indraprastha University. The obstacles experienced when learning English include: first, less precise learning methods. Second, limited time. Third, difficult to memorize English vocabulary. Fourth, not getting the right study partner. 5. Not confident with learning to read English vocabulary. 6. Able to understand but not able to express. 7. It takes a long time to translate. I get information from articles that I have read, including the following: destination of grammatical teaching. Traditionally, teaching grammar has been viewed as the presentation and practice of discrete grammar structures. This is the view announcement in the teachers or hearts. Grammar involves instructional technique that draws learners to some form of grammar in such a way
that I help them to understand it metalinguistically and or process it in the understand and or production so that they the inner nasal. Next, the kind of grammar we have to use. Linguistic provides a large selection of grammar models to choose from, including structural grammar, generative grammar, based on universal grammar, and functional grammar. Next, grammar feature. To begin with, it is necessary to distinguish two different definitions of learning difficulties. This can refer to the difficulties students experience in understanding grammatical feature and the difficulties they experience in internalising grammatical feature so that they can use them actually in communication. Next, time and method to speed teaching grammar. There are two competing answers to this question. According to the former, it is best to emphasize teaching grammar in the early stages of a question. According to this account, it is best to emphasize meaning focus, introduction to anything, and introduce grammar teaching later, when learners have started to have their language. Next, grouping grammar and distribution of grammar. Regardless of when grammar teaching begins, we need to consider whether it should be concentrated in time or spread over a longer period. Next, intensive and extensive grammar instruction. Intensive grammar teaching refers to instruction over a continuous period of time regarding one grammar structure or behave, a pair of contrasting structures. Extensive grammar teaching refers to the instruction of various structures in such time. The structure requires minimal attention in one lesson. Next, there is value in teaching explicit grammatical knowledge. Explanatory feedback takes several forms, such as direct correction or metalinguistic explanation. Finally, the best way to ask grammar for explicit knowledge. There is some evidence that explicit feedback is more effective in aligning correct use of structures by learners and in aligning subsequent correct use, for example, in the final text. Thank you for your attention. Follow guys if there is a short take. See you guys next time.
Hello, my name is Amelia Putri. My NPM is 202041500280. The difficulty in learning English is the rule of pleasing different language which make me as a learner to be mistaken. This article discusses or identifies major issues related to grammar teaching by analyzing theory, and research in the SLA. Traditionally, grammar teaching was seen as a presentation and practice of discrete grammar structure. This is the view announced in the teacher handbook. Grammar teaching involves any instructional technique that draw student attention to certain form of language word in such a way that it helps them to understand them metalinguically and process them in understanding or production so that they can internalize them.
Hello everyone, I want to introduce myself. My name is Mukti Nugraheni.
You can call me Mukti. Student ID number 20 41 50 00 and 31. I from class regular 1A Biology Program Studies. And then I want to answer my problems and information about learning English. The first, my problems in learning English is difficult to pronounce long sentence, difficult to translate, and difficult to memorize the vocabulary of each verb. The second, the information I get is that if we learn English, we must use good grammar, not only using forms, but tools that are meaningful and have a different structure. Thank you very much. See you and goodbye.
Hello, my name is Anggi Melati with NPM 2012 41 5059. The problem of learning English are the lack of mystery and vocabulary, lack of assessment, free time to learn English, and fear of being wrong when speaking in English because of not yet getting in the grammar right. What information did I receive after I translated the article? The article discussed a number of major issues relating to the teaching of grammar in the second language and by using theory and research insight and suggesting ways to address the problem. It is true that the teaching of grammar can be confused of presentation and practice grammatical item, but it is well looked at one big nature. First, some ordinance lesson may consist of the presentation itself, or that is without any practice, while others may need only practice. A grammatical teaching may involve learners in finding grammatical rules of themselves, or no presentation and no practice. Third, grammatical teaching can be done only by sitting the learner on artificial input to give some example of the target structure over here also. They are not understand it in metalinguistic and or process it in understanding and or production so they can inspire it. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Alan Dewianti, my NPM 2012 41 566. The obstacle experience while learning English were not mastering vocabulary, not accustomed to pronouncing English so that the speaking process becomes secretive, fear of mispronouncing because you don't have good grammar, shy talking to people who are smarter or native speaker, difficult to understand the text in English. They are no partners to practice, difficult to pronounce because of different ways of reading English, and can you if other people use English but not able to express it. The conclusion that I got after reading the article, the grammar talk must emphasize not only form but also the meaning and use of different grammatical structure. Teachers should try to focus on grammar structure that are known to be problematic for students rather than trying to teach grammar as a whole. The focus on shape approach is valid as long as includes opportunities for learners to practice behavior in communicative text. Use must be made input and output based instructional choice.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello all, my name is Abdul Latif. Student principal number is 202045 and 44. So here I will discuss about English. In understanding English lesson, I have a lot of obstacles to be able to master the lesson. Among them, the first, I don't master all vocabulary in English because there are so much vocabulary words that must be memorized so that we can understanding learning English. The secondly, I don't know how much to be and rule for to be installation themselves. Then in applying English, I'm not fluent in speaking or speaking because it's become or referencing in speaking. The information that I get after translate the article is that learning the language properly and correction is a very important matter because language fiction as opposed to unit a nation. Then, when we interact with other people using good and correction language, it is seen that someone who is educated. Thanks. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
My name is Muhammad Genta Prasetyo. My NPM is 202041500036. And one, the obstacle for me to learn English is to understand the context in the text, and also look the vocabulary in the language itself. And two, this article discusses some of the main issues relates to managing grammar. Okay, thank you for appreciation.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello guys, my name is Bella Safitri. In PM 202041500264. Okay, I will answer the number one. Number one. My first obstacle to learning English was so limited to memorizing a vocabulary in English that I could lose my means when translate in English. The second is that there is a problem that is hard to understand that I don't now understand what it means. Number two, learning as well a second leg have helped to shape the shape of thinking about how to teach grammar in the second leg. However, there remain some controversial issues. The paper considered its main question returning to the grammatical pedagogy in light of the discovery of answering a second leg. Thus, the article complete the Celsius article 1991 on grammatical teaching in the 25 query issue, which considered its role in the communicated in interesting curriculum and the major grammatical theory. Although a second log does not provide a definitive solution to the question, is therefore the vulnerable people of this problem from the liquid. This article complete with my own belief in the grammatical teaching based of my understanding of the second log. The article identifies and discusses a number of important issues relating to grammatical teaching in the second leg, and by drawing on theory and research in the second leg, point out how to solve the problem. It points out to a number of alternative solutions of each problem, suggesting and more often that no obvious solution is currently available. The purpose the refer was not to identify a new solution of the existing control, even to present a new controversy. Instead of discussion in the compass of the article, the whole issue is out.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello, my name is Atika Aprilia,
NPM 2020-41-50-0032. This is my answer. 1. Unusually is pronouncing English so that the speaking progress is halting. I am afraid of mispronouncing because I don't understand good grammar, lack of vocabulary, difficult to understand the text in English. 2. Discussion related to teaching grammar in second language. Teaching grammar is useful in order to produce a high level of grammar competence. Teaching grammar can contribute to the development of language. Language provides a right selection of grammar model to choose from, includes structured grammar, generative grammar, or basic on universal grammar theory, and functional grammar. There are two themes in teaching grammar. First, it emphasizes teaching grammar in the early stage of L2 equation. The second emphasizes instruction that focus on meaning to start and introduce grammar teaching later, when students have started to shape their language. Teaching grammar is useful seen as requiring intensive instruction. The correct practice for books grammar teaching or PPP model, which underlies most of the discussion of grammar teaching in the teacher handbook. The difference between explicit and implicit knowledge. Explicit knowledge is how constantly can be learned and spoken and usually exists through controlled progressing when the learning experience some kind of language difficult in using second language. In contrast, implicit knowledge is productive, help, inclusive, and can only be spoken only if it is made explicit.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. May I introduce? My name is Trirus Handayani with the NPM 2020-41-50-0011 from class R1A. This time, I will answer two questions given by Miss. First question, what is the obstacle for you to learn English? The answers, a obstacle to me in learning English was the difficulty of memorizing English vocabulary. So unfamiliar with English speech that the process of speaking without confidence. Lack of confidence, lack of grammar so well. Difficulty saying the grammar. Difficulty reading a different English language. Difficulty understanding the text in English. Two questions. After you translate those articles, what information you got? Explain briefly. The answers. This article considers a number of major issues relating to the teaching of grammar in the second language L2 and using theories and research in SLA, such as how to solve the problem. This paper considers a key question relating to grammar pedagogy in the light of findings from SLA. This article complements the Sales Murcia article 1991, which takes into account the role of grammar in the communicative curriculum and reference largely to linguistic grammatical theories. The article also gives an explanation of grammatical teaching, acknowledging the many of them remain controversial among the grammatical structure that is taught must be stressed not only in form but also in meaning and use of different grammatical structure. Consideration must be given experimenting with mass approaches rather than distribution to teach grammar. Use must be made from input and output instruction choices. The focus approach on incidental forms has a special value, essential corrective feedback for studying grammar. The grammar instruction must take a separate grammatical form, a focus approach on form, and must also be integrated into communicative activities, a focus approach on form. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Hello, my name is Anissa. My obstacle in learning English that is I don't expect more tense and vocabulary. The other obstacle is between pronunciation and writing. It makes me being difficult when listening tests and writing tests. I joined an English course since class 4 until class 7. I had an English competition when elementary school with 3 my friends in school, except that when the national examination I got score 10. I think English is easy if we always study one study and helping by a teacher. And then now I don't join the English course again, and I sometimes forgot the vocabulary. My obstacle when translate your article that is I feel so difficult in translate to Indonesian because I only expert English in basic. From read the article, I got the obstacle of learning grammar until the good method of teaching grammar. Thank you.
Hello my friends, let me introduce myself. My name is Dimas Aditya Nugroho. My NPM is 202041500079. I'm a student from Unindra. Here I want to tell you first I want to explain my obstacle in learning English. The difficulty in learning English, in my opinion, is in the grammar material. I have difficulty understanding the grammar at school because I really don't understand what my teacher is saying. I feel that the material present looks the same as each other without any difference between them. It feels very confused in learning English. Then I got confused in hearing sentences in English that had a similar sounds but had different meanings. This result in misunderstanding and translating the meaning they convey. I also have difficulty remembering vocabulary words that are rarely used in conversation. Sometimes I have interpreted them but still forget the next time. Those are 3 points which in my opinion are quite hindering in understanding English lesson. After I translate the article given by Ms. Cecil, I got some important points. This article is about teaching the proper method to understand grammar. First, I see that the teaching of grammar should be understood by students in the use of its structure and function. Second, I think that the teacher must understand where the student abilities are in the grammar material. So the student will not understand at all what the teacher is saying because the teacher has ensured that the student has at least basic skill in the subject of grammar. Third, I see and I agree that in teaching grammar must be done reciprocally between the teacher and the one being taught. This will generate a general sense of enthusiasm among students in my opinion. If grammar teaching is not only delivered in theoretical form but is also often practiced in class communication, this will further hone students' ability to understand the structure and use of grammar in daily communication. Those are points that I consider important in the article. More or less, I apologize. Thank you. Thank you guys for watching this video. Please comment, subscribe, and
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Introduce myself. My name is Tania Ananda Soleha with student identification number 2020-41-5054. I'm from class R1A Biology Education and I will answer the two questions that have been given. English lessons are difficult for me to understand. I know it's important to master English in the era of globalization. In English lesson, I have difficulties in vocabulary, conservation, tense, and many others. To master English, we have to strengthen the basic lesson first, and I haven't mastered the basic lesson yet. This is what makes it difficult for me to learn English. After I translate the article, I got information about teaching grammar, and the conclusion is 1. Grammar plays a central role in language teaching. 2. Traditional method based on explanation and practice such as difficult exercise to generate the implicit knowledge necessary. 3. Teachers should try to focus on grammar structures that are known to be problematic for learners rather than trying to teach grammar as a whole. 4. The teacher can experiment in the classroom to find a grammar teaching method that suits for students. Thank you for watching this video and listening my answer. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Hello Miss and my friends, my name is Selma Carolina Lisubun, NPM 2020 4 and 5 0077. Question 1. What is obstacles for you to learn English? Answer 1. The obstacles that I express in it when learning English come from myself, where I feel afraid. Afraid like one of the English language because I did not understand the grammar well. Then there were still many vocabulary words that had not been mastered, and I was not asked to speak English, so that I've asked confused starting I word or expressing in direct line. Question 2. After you translate this article, what information you get? Explain briefly. Answer 2. The information that I get after reading the article is like being able to see what grammar, then what grammar should we teach students, and so on. Likewise, this article identifies and discusses makes us of research theory is CLA as well as how have helped savvy thinking about how the grammar of second language is still there. Thank you.